Can you find a self by making history-sized changes for humanity? In the 1970s, Johannesburg was host to a large Dungeons & Dragons tournament. Some local kids who were all cousins and siblings entered the tournament. Everyone else was older than them. The organizers told the players the goal was to save a lady by identifying the villain and defeating him. Right off the bat, the leader of the young kids pointed to the dungeon master and called him the villain. The battle was over almost as soon as it started. The leader of the winning team was a young Elon Musk. Hard to deny that Elon had a heroic side to him. Maybe that soaring ambition and brains of his could take him places. Maybe to Mars. Elon Musk is likely the inspiration behind Robert Downey Jr.'s version of Tony Stark. Musk also co-founded Tesla, PayPal, and OpenAI, and founded SpaceX, Neuralink, and The Boring Company. Elon often launches more rockets in a given year than all the world governments combined, and he is often the richest person in the world. But today, we are asking if he is As young Elon soaked up his science, he noticed there were a few things it could not teach him. He did not see any way that physics could explain to him why the universe existed. He started reading some people we have never brought up on this channel until now. None of these people were especially known for achieving meaningful lives. The young Elon noted, "I do not recommend reading Nietzsche as a teenager." I could not agree more, Elon. His biographer noted that Elon was saved by reading science fiction. I have questions about this. First, did science fiction confront Elon with his deepest longings? Did it decide on his behalf who he was going to be? Did it bring meaning to his life that stuck with him when everything else in his life was in disarray? As is so often the case in life, it is often hard to tell the difference between what is said in sincerity and what is just done for people to see. Kierkegaard writes about a thrill-seeking person who constantly changes what he does. If Elon wants to say he has had an exciting life, who can disagree with him? Yet it is very hard to gain a personal identity that endures if you are always abandoning your interests from an hour ago. At first, Musk said he wanted to do three big things for humanity: the internet, sustainable energy, and space travel. These pursuits must have seemed like quite an adventure at first, but when he didn't seem to be meeting his supply quotas, he would often think about a new product in the distant future. Instead of seeking the thrills and excitement he originally envisioned, he described it as a pain. Going into his marriage with Justine with a prenup was hard on him. His fiancée described Elon as nervous. Is that because the arrangement felt like he was going to jump into the next thing after his marriage? To be honest, I've never had to protect millions of dollars from a loved one, so this is all very easy for me to say. On the other hand, marriage already carries an immense weight to it, and taking any marriage lightly can be soul-crushing. In response to the thrill-seeking person, Kierkegaard has an ethically minded person note that if you go from changing one role to another, and one person into another enough, you might end up with no identity at all. This is the kind of thing where if you live long enough, you will struggle with it, yet few handle this struggle well. What people used to call authentic is now called based, but it's the same thing. Actually, y'all decided you like authentic better, so that's what we're going to call it. Either word basically means not caring whether other people approve or not. In a lot of ways, Elon Musk doesn't care about what people think of him. He doesn't do focus groups. He's not afraid to post things others disagree with.
He was addicted to tweeting.
Or design things his staff are opposed to. He tells his managers, never ask your employees to do something you're not willing to do yourself. And also that cavalry generals should be able to ride a horse. This is a very authentic thing to say. When Soren Kierkegaard would take walks around Copenhagen at night, he would often see the Rundetarn Observatory. People familiar with the work done there would talk about what discoveries were happening and what they would hold for humanity. Kierkegaard referred to these people as star crazy. It's hard to say for sure what Kierkegaard would say about traveling to Mars, but sometimes it seems like the people who want to grasp the furthest reaches of space have the least understanding of themselves and their deepest longings. In theory, if Musk could bring the price of a Mars trip down to the cost of a plane ticket across the Atlantic, there's still the problem of you're the same person that you were when you left. The notion that a person's circumstances can fundamentally change who they are or add significant meaning to their life is shallow. I'm not saying people should never go to Mars, but I do think people should have a sense of how important that is to them. A lot of people go chasing after goals like being famous, getting rich, or finding the right person. And when they have no self-awareness or commitment to their deepest longings, they often end up jaded and missing from their own lives, regardless of whether or not they find what they're looking for. Does this fundamentally change when a person's goals are Mars-sized? Suppose Elon Musk is mentioned in the history books for the next 11 centuries as the person who made humanity an interplanetary species.
Huge, large, epic framework.
Is this kind of fame enough to make up for a despairing, meaningless life? What good is it to be remembered by people after you die if you're not even aware of it? Whether you view heaven and hell as existing places, it's hard to see what good it does to you to be remembered after you are gone. Every day, people negotiate with themselves where they want to arrive on the spectrum between having a professional life and a personal life. The more you chase what can be quickly exchanged with money, the more professional you are.
How could you give up my diary like that?
I had to. I'm sorry, but I need to win this.
The more you chase what can't be exchanged for anything, the more personal you are. People on this side of the spectrum fit easily into roles, which is how Elon insists people understand him. He insists on being the one to call the shots in all his companies. He insists on being the CEO at all of them. He told his wife, Justine, while dancing together at their wedding, that he is the alpha in the relationship. It doesn't seem very romantic, but I see much bigger problems in his relationships than a lack of sentiment. There's nothing inherently bad about being an alpha, but like any role, putting that much weight on a role can remove the person from the relationship as well as their own life. There's a lot of CEOs and a lot of alpha males out there, but marriage is supposed to be a relationship between two specific people. You can't just be married to all the alpha males out there. And these companies could have had a lot of other CEOs. Does Musk see himself as somehow different than the rest? Employees at SpaceX and Tesla are expected to work far longer hours than competing companies require. Many quit from burnout. In many ways, it's hard to see how Elon could understand what it means to be himself as an existing individual when he is so caught up in being a professional. Elon Musk is not an elitist snob, to the point where those who are elitist snobs are bothered by him. He seems like a person you could go get some drinks with, or play Polytopia with. His level of self-awareness is low, but the twist is that he is aware of this. While most people look at their fantasies of who they are and think this makes them self-aware, Elon is not so easily deceived. And just like Jesus said the tax collectors would enter heaven before the Pharisees, Elon has a better chance than many of coming to terms with his deepest longings and ideals. The world owes Elon for his contributions toward protecting free speech, and he has shown a consistent picture to investors of what he is capable of: taking risks, innovating, and snatching financial victory from the jaws of defeat. But I've yet to see who he is as a person, so when it comes to being an existential hero, I would say Elon Musk is right here. Aww. I like the man, but he has a lot to learn about who he is. Please like and subscribe. Thanks for watching. Do you think I gave Elon a fair take? What about his life do you think says the most about him? I'll talk to you later.